Paula, Craft Foods, and all my fellow cooks out there. It's Nadina Morris, your gluten-free mama, here today to cook for you a gluten-free lasagna with a Philly twist. Now, generally, when we're a person who is on a gluten-free diet, pasta would be an enemy, but thankfully to a lot of organic companies who are making a large variety of gluten-free pastas, we still have the luxury of having dishes like lasagna. So let's get started. So in my pan I have a pound of ground beef that I've already browned and added salt and pepper and a little bit of oregano. Actually, it's about a tablespoon of oregano. And now I'm going to add my cremini mushrooms. I like to make sure I sweat out my mushrooms when I'm putting them in the lasagna, because then it takes out some of the moisture that you might end up, when you sometimes end up with some water in the bottom of your lasagna pan. I think that's because of the mushrooms sometimes. So I always make sure I sweat mine out. Now I'm going to add in just bought jarred pasta sauce, whatever one that you like the best. It can be your choice, but I just recently discovered, I didn't know this even though it's right on the jar, that Newman's Owns contributes all their profits to charitable donations. So to me, that's just a little extra added incentive to buy Newman's Own. After I add that, I also like to go ahead and just put a little bit of wine at the bottom of the jar so that you can make sure you can get out every little bit of that sauce. It's not more than about a half a cup that you can put in there. Gives it a little extra flavor with the wine, and then, like I said, you can get out every bit of your jarred sauce. I figured the jarred sauce always saves time and it tastes good, so why not use it? Especially when you're a busy mom. So you go ahead and mix that wine in there, and you're just going to go ahead and let this simmer down while you're making your cream cheese, Philadelphia cream cheese mixture for your lasagna. So now we're going to make our filling for our gluten-free lasagna with a Philly twist. And so in our bowl we have one 8-ounce package of Kraft Philadelphia cream cheese and an 8-ounce cup of chopped spinach. So now we're going to add 1 egg. And then you're going to go ahead and blend this all together. Go ahead and add 1 tablespoon chopped fresh basil. This is where I think you get a lot of the little extra flavor that just sets your lasagna off to a different level. Give it that great little extra Go ahead and mix that together. And then we're going to go ahead and add 1/2 cup of the Italian blend of Kraft natural Italian mozzarella cheese. This blend has a combination of the mozzarella cheese and the Parmesan, so that's why I wanted to get that Parmesan flavor in there and the mozzarella into this cheese. Make sure to give it that 3 cheese flavor. And put that in there and go ahead and mix it one more time. And now you have your Philly twist layer. And let's just start to assemble our lasagna. To assemble our lasagna, we're going to use brown rice gluten-free pasta noodles. Now, I particularly enjoyed the brown rice pasta noodles because they really don't have any different in flavor. The texture is about exactly the same as normal wheat pasta. So my daughter really loves this, so I would recommend giving these a try. So I have first lined the bottom of my dish with some pasta sauce that has been simmering on the stove, and now I've added my three lasagna noodles. Now we're going to add our Philly cheese twist and put a thin layer of the cheese mixture on each lasagna noodle. Now go ahead and add a layer of your meat sauce and mushroom. A nice hearty layer. Now another thing that you obviously probably noticed that I did not actually boil my noodles. I like to actually cook the noodles in all the juices and from your pasta sauce and your cheese. That cooks right into the noodles when you're baking it. That's a little trick I learned from my mother-in-law after my husband told me he liked his mother's lasagna better. So I had to learn her trick. And it was simply to not boil your lasagna noodles. Now the one thing I love about lasagna is also its versatility in the dish, and you can also, we easily could cut a lot of the calories and fat in a lasagna by monitoring how much cheese you use. Don't get too heavy-handed on the cheese, and then simply you could change your meat sauce from ground beef to turkey. Keep the mushrooms, that's a relatively healthy item to use, and then also take advantage of Kraft's low-fat Philadelphia cream cheese. Now we're going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit more of the Italian blend, Kraft's Italian blend cheese, the mozzarella and Parmesan. Again, be liberal but not too liberal. And then go ahead and put another layer of noodles. Kind of press the noodles down into the sauce there. And go ahead and line it again with some more Philly twist mixture. Then another hearty helping of your sauce. And then go ahead and add some more Italian blend cheese. Now that we finished assembling our lasagna, we're going to go ahead and get that in the oven, and we're going to go ahead and make sure we put some tin foil on top of our lasagna just so that we can make sure we lock in the heat and we cook those uncooked noodles thoroughly through. I also have here a lined cookie sheet to go ahead and put lasagna on top of the pan so that we can make sure that any spills might happen will happen on the pan and not in your stove to burn. I also have my stove set on 450 degrees, and we're going to cook that for 40 minutes. The first 35 minutes we're going to keep the tin foil on, and then we're going to go ahead and take the tin foil off on the last 5 minutes of the cooking time. And here we have your gluten-free lasagna with the Philly twist. Look at that, that looks so good. Oh, look at those layers. I think the egg and the cream cheese makes that layer set just perfectly in there. Now for those of you who think lasagna is intimidating, it shouldn't be at all. This is really good, very easy, can be cooked in under 1 hour. So I hope you give this a try and really enjoy it. And I look forward to coming to you next week with the next entree, gluten-free of course.